You've got some data to show me from this podcast, right?
Do you think the podcast grew in listenership this year or fell in listenership this year?
It's utter nonsense.
The most popular city?
Oh, really? Do we create another podcast?
No, I like it.
You don't need a huge following. We've generated revenue from being consistent. Welcome to episode 82 of The Fake Marketer, everybody. Nick's not with us again.
Under a week to Christmas now when this goes out.
It is a week to Christmas, yeah.
Scary times.
Merry Christmas, one and all. Well, we had some success this week, Michael, didn't we?
Rupert.
We launched our first ever Christmas ad.
I was going to say we didn't do anything last year, but it wasn't really knocking about then, was it?
It wasn't knocking about then, Michael. But do you want to tell the listeners what our idea was?
We did. It sort of went from, I don't know how long it took us to think of it, but we were at the marketing showcase and you were like, oh, we could do a Christmas ad, like do some songs. So I thought, leave it with me. On the way back in the taxi, I was thinking of some lyrics for Christmas songs. And then from there, we recorded last week. Got James with his hood up, looking mournful. Was it last week we recorded, or was last week?
A couple of weeks ago. But what we did is you mashed
Edited
up 3 different videos, music videos and songs. So E17, Stay Another Day, Mariah Carey,
Wham.
and Wham. And we changed the words specifically to what Rupert does, which was cool. My best one, Michael, which even now I absolutely love, which is, while the trolls are memeing, Rupert's quarantining.
Yeah, I'm proud of that.
Very, very good.
I was like, there has to be a rhyme for quarantine, but I was trying to think of, I didn't know if people would know what memeing was. I was thinking while the trolls are scheming, but then I was like, meming's works. So.
I think it's brilliant. So yeah, that went live, and we've had, about 5,500 impressions on LinkedIn.
I have it, that's good.
I've had about 80 odd comments. No, interactions. And about 30 comments. All very, very complimentary of our work.
It's good.
Your work.
We've set a precedent now.
We can beat that.
We've got to start. It's like John Lewis now. We've got to start planning early.
Amy Close in the comments did say better than John Lewis this year. So
what can we say?
Mic drop.
Take that, whoever did the John Lewis.
Sorry, John and Lewis. So this is episode 82. We're coming to the end of the year, and Nick's not here. What a shame. We're going to run through. You've got some data to show me from this podcast, right? So we're going to analyse our own podcast.
Yeah.
Now I've got some other stuff that's going to counteract, and sort of, I've got a feeling that the results aren't going to be brilliant from what we're seeing, but actually what it's resulted in shows that you don't need to be Stephen Bartlett's huge podcast to make a podcast successful. Does that make sense? So do you want to run through? So I've not seen these yet.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be. I just went on. I went on Buzzsprout just to check the podcast had gone live and everything, and I saw this little banner at the top. It's a bit like Spotify Wrapped. Everyone's trying to do their own Spotify Wrapped, where it's like your summary of the year, that type of thing. So
Strava does this as well, and actually, it's a very good marketing ploy. So you'll see now, if I go on Strava now, you'll be able to see.
Does it get like people back in to check their?
Well, it gets them in, but also they then post it on their socials.
Oh, I see.
Which is really
same with Spotify, where people are posting there like, "This is the song I listen to." Whatever.
Correct. So let me just change. There you go. Year in sport. So it shows you.
Oh yeah, it is like Spotify Wrapped, where it's like animated and.
Oh, they're brilliant. They're actually it's actually free content. I think it's really, really interesting. My Strava will be rubbish this year because I've been injured for 6 months. But I'll be a bit disappointed. But no, very good marketing ploy. So you've seen this. So
I had a little look just because I was like, if there's no data, it's obviously not very interesting.
So what data does it show us? And I can sort of maybe guess.
From what I know, I think it's. Let me check. I don't want to misspeak.
Okay.
It says your podcast grew X amount this year.
Okay.
How many episodes you put out? Most popular city, most popular. It does your top 5 cities that streamed the podcast. It does your top 5 countries that stream the podcast, top episodes, and then just like a little summary of like how many downloads, how many minutes, that sort of thing. So it's got a few different. So do you think the podcast grew in listenership this year or fell in listenership this year?
Well, I'd like to think it grew.
Well, I would have said the same, because from looking at when I used to go on and upload them, you know, it used to say like 2 downloads, 3 downloads, and I knew probably one of them was you. But now when I go on, it's sort of like 10, 12, 13. So I was like, so the podcast grew 238% this year.
This is what I love about marketing, right? Is that, let's say we were a podcast agency, right? And I was trying to fucking blag my client, I'd be all over that. Oh my God, we've grew 238% this year. It's utter nonsense.
Does that just mean like it doubled? Or is it 4 times? Doubled?
Oh, it's done. It's a lot. But that's good. So okay, so I'm impressed with that.
Yeah, I'm
so,
happy with that.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that. That's good. Okay.
So next we have, we put out 49 episodes this year.
Have we missed a week?
Well, we've still got to the end of the year, haven't we?
So we got
I think
this week.
I think we did miss a week. I know you said we haven't, but I think we probably missed one.
We can't have.
I think we did, but
Well, I'm telling you, we can't have. Okay. Well, that's annoying, if I'm honest.
so the most popular city you would believe to be
Manchester.
Manchester's not on there.
I was going to say London, but it's an easy one.
London's not on there.
Coventry.
No Coventry.
UK, yeah?
Yeah. Where are we?
Leamington Spa?
Leamington
Yeah,
Spa.
but that's not a city.
No, that's what it says on here.
Okay, but it's a
It says
town.
most popular city, so I
Okay.
was just reading off. So we've got Leamington Spa, which I assume is you.
Yeah.
We've got Birmingham, second. Warwick.
Also not a city.
Mansfield. Do you know someone in Mansfield?
No, I don't. Mansfield Town, though. Decent little
And then
football club.
interestingly, can you think of an out-the-box final one?
In the UK.
No. Our 5th biggest one
Can you give me the country?
is outside of...
If you've got to Google what country it is, I've got no chance.
I just want to double check because I don't want to misspeak. No, it's where I thought it was. I don't want to say the country because then it sort of spoils it. It's Europe.
Oh, I don't know, Michael. You're asking me to name a city in Europe.
Stockholm.
Oh, really?
30 downloads from Stockholm this year. So shout out whoever is in Stockholm listening.
Okay. Well, that's nice. That's interesting to see.
Yeah,
Okay.
wouldn't have expected. You don't know anyone in Stockholm, do you?
No, but maybe they're a fan of marketing over
There's someone out there who's like, that's me.
there. Okay.
So yeah, we've had 22 different countries that have listened to the podcast this year. The top one being
The UK.
UK, correct, with 379 downloads. After that, we've got
America.
US with 103 downloads. This is just for episodes published in 2024, so it doesn't include like if they've downloaded older episodes. In third, any thoughts?
Australia.
Australia, number 3, with 33 downloads. Below that, we have our friends in
Oh, Stockholm.
Sweden. Yeah, Sweden with 31. And then finally, we have...
So Sweden, there's some countries in Europe, most speak English now. But places like Sweden are very... It's widespread English, if that makes sense. That's,
Love a bit of marketing over in Sweden.
They do.
And then finally, we have Denmark with 18 downloads.
Okay.
So if we do a little...
The Danes.
If we do a tour of any... we do a theatre tour, we've
can you
got to hit
imagine
up Sweden and
Okay.
Denmark.
Well, that's interesting. That's okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected that. Do you have... I know obviously we've done a lot of episodes this year.
We have,
but
yeah.
If you had to guess what the... It's saying top episode. I'm assuming it's by the most amount of listeners, downloads maybe. Can you think back to anywhere you thought that was a? Wow, that was
Was
a hot
it one
episode.
where I've interviewed or someone's been on that isn't either Nick or I?
One of them is.
Yeah, okay.
One
Is
of
that
them
the one with
is-
Jem?
No, one of them is with Greg Landon. That was Nick and Greg.
Well, I wasn't on that one.
Greg Landon on improving your traffic conversion, episode 60.
Okay. I couldn't. No, I couldn't.
We've
guess.
got the number one is using lead gen campaigns for your e-commerce business. Episode 41. We have how have our Rupert ads been going? Episode 70. We're there with the highs and lows of UGC content. There's Greg, and then we have why the influence room is changing how brands work with influencers. I noticed that as well. That influence room episode, even the clip I posted about the influence room got loads of views for some reason. I don't know if it's because we had influencer in the title.
Weirdly, I was speaking about them today with Lizzie, actually, the influence room, because I was actually on with Alex and Tanya last week, actually, about something. So, yeah, do you know what's really interesting is that, we need to learn from this, Michael, and I think this is something where we need to evolve, which is if you look at the top 5 episodes, taking out Greg, well, actually, looking at Greg as well, look at the headlines.
You're saying that they're good or bad?
Well, I think they're good. Like they're going to learn something, aren't they? So if you look at using lead gen campaigns for your e-commerce business,
That's like something people might search for type thing.
absolutely. I think the Rupert ads is because of obviously a lot of the stuff that I'm doing offline or off sort of podcast where the highs and lows of UGC content. Again, a lot of people are using UGC content and are having issues with it. So I would understand why people would be searching or find that. And again, the influence room, they've got a large following, so I would expect that to be up there. So no,
Bit of a variety.
yeah, no, they're good.
And then down here we have our overall little wrapped thing. So we've had 723 downloads, 49 episodes, 22 countries, 1,500 minutes overall.
Wow.
Shout out. And that doesn't obviously include clips or the YouTube channel as well.
So if you
obviously.
scroll down, Michael, so 723 downloads.
Off
isn't-
49 episodes.
Yeah, so 723. Yeah, so averaging like 15 each one, right? Which is cool. Let's not be around the bush.
But considering last year, I'm pretty sure it was like 3.
Yeah, no,
So-
absolutely. So, but it is shite if you were to look at it just that.
Yeah.
But what is interesting is, so how much does Buzzsprout cost us a month? It's about $15, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not a lot.
So 15. So let's say that's costed us 180 quid. So £200 for Buzzsprout. We record on a Wednesday night. It doesn't take too long to edit now because we're using the
Opus.
Opus to clips, but also the actual podcast itself. We're using the Rode again now, which means it's easier to do the audio and stuff. So from an ROI perspective, and Nick sent me an email yesterday saying that he's closed a bit of business from someone who's been listening to this for 6 months, also been listening to his podcast, The Ads Clinic, and has just started on The Ads Clinic. And I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. So, I'm taking a little assist for that one. But he's seen so much value and come in and actually use Nick for one of his services, which is incredible. And actually, I've had people that have used Rupert, so like Touchstone Essentials, they found out about Rupert from this podcast. Incredible. So Touchstone Essentials have been using Rupert now for 6 months. They've been on the £89 one since day one. That's £534 revenue. Nick's Ads Clinic is £600 a month. So let's say that guy stays with him for 3 months. We've generated $2,500, and that's revenue that I can think off the top of my head from that.
Just at those people.
Just the 2 that I've thought of right now. It's amazing, isn't it, really, when you think about, people would look at that and go, it's not a lot. No, it's not a lot, but you don't need a lot for it to be successful.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you can be steered by a lot, like a James Sinclair, who I speak about a lot, because I think his content's really good, and it's something that I want us to look at for next year. But you don't need a huge following or a huge audience. We've generated revenue from being consistent. every single week. I'm annoyed we've missed one week, but I don't think we have.
Yeah, I think the consistency's helped because
Yeah.
it looks like obviously you can't see how many sort of people are returning of the people that are there, but just by looking at the numbers, there's sort of like that's the lead gen one down there, 22, but there's there's always around sort of 10 to 12.
So my question is now, so if you scroll up on that, that's right. How are we going to increase this and double it again next year? So I've seen things like putting the transcript.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we do that at the moment?
Putting a transcript where on the description.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can. I'm assuming you can.
You do it for Nick's, don't you?
I don't do it, but it is done for Nick.
Yeah. So that we could do that.
Yeah.
So that could be added in.
I've
Which
started.
is
I don't know if it's made any difference, but I started moving the episode number from the start to the end. I might get rid of the episode number altogether, but just because I feel like if somebody comes on and sees episode 70 and then they think, oh, I haven't watched the other episodes of this podcast, so I thought if they have the title at the start, they can be like, oh, Black Friday, and they won't really care that it's the 79th episode.
I agree. I think we should remove that.
We can just, because Nick more recently has removed his entirely, so his podcast now is just titles.
Because he gets loads of downloads, doesn't he?
Yeah, so he, from August now, is just... He's also tried, he was saying, keep the titles quite short because obviously the longer your title, the more gets cut off when people are looking. So he's tried to keep them kind of punchy.
They're amazing results, they are really. He's getting, averaging 500 odd download. That's fantastic.
And he's not been consistent at all.
No.
Because even from August there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 podcasts from August until now.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Yeah. So,
okay. So I think putting the transcript in, let's get rid of the episode. Yeah, I think that's the two things we try.
Yeah. I think maybe I'll try and be consistent as well with all the clips because we have a lot of content. We get a lot of content from it, but it's just being consistent posting it and then maybe how we post it on.
We are consistent with that.
No, I know, but I mean just making sure we're on top of it and like as you were talking about, like they all look uniform and like maybe it's hashtag or just some ways to maybe make it more discoverable because then people might find that and go back to find the episode.
Because clearly the people that are listening, they're seeing value because they've, some of them, if you look at percentage-wise, a huge percentage of them are coming on to purchase a product or service, which is amazing. We just need more volume. That's the reality. Mm-hmm. But from a consistency perspective, most people would have given up by now.
Yeah, and it's not really a thing we've actually like pushed. Really, like we push it sort of like you talk about on LinkedIn, but it's not something where we.
Well, I've stopped that actually. So I've actually stopped pushing this on LinkedIn recently.
Was that like by design or was that?
No. It's just because I post so much about obviously very Rupert centric content. You
didn't want to like confuse the message.
Not so much confused. Just I've got so much going out. I can't post anymore. You know. I've got Beauty over in Lagos who's doing a lot of work for me, which is brilliant. But I'm sort of maybe it's a weekend actually trying to get people to because a lot of people are on LinkedIn over the weekend. So I don't post on Saturday and Sunday. So I might bring that into it as back a while. But so that's been really good. So something that I want to talk to you about, and it's more of a more than an offline. It's been a long day today. More on an offline chat, which is, do we create another podcast?
Which is, whenever James says this in my mind, I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to have to edit that.
Well, to be fair, the podcast. To be fair, it's a quick process now, isn't it?
Yeah. Now that we're using these again, it's a lot quicker.
So much easier. So I do the comment section on a Thursday, don't I? No, Wednesday. Sorry, 11:00. And obviously this is great and clearly it works. And I think it gives us, means that we have a wider spectrum of marketing. But I think we need to create a podcast with Rupert, which is specific around the comment section. What platforms you can use, how you can extract more value from them and actually release a new podcast around Rupert. So I did think about calling it the comment section, but I think there's already a podcast called the comment section, isn't there?
Have a look. I'm not sure.
Don't quote me on that.
Is that GK Barry's podcast? Did I make that up?
I have no idea.
Do you know who GK Barry is? She's on the thingy at the moment.
Oh, I'm a celeb. Yes, I do know who she is.
There's the comments section. 4.3 million.
What does she do?
Trump is Times person. Just general newsy type videos.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if there is one called. Let me put in podcast. Would it get confusing though if there was? Yeah, it's Drew Afalo. She's pretty big.
Okay, I thought I'd seen it somewhere. Okay, so we can't call it that. So I think we need to come up with some names on a new podcast. But I want to do it where I may be interviewing social media managers. I just want it to be very social media centric. I don't want to do it online. I want to do it face to face.
Yeah, you don't like an online.
I hate them online. I think they're so poor.
It's harder to get there's less flow, isn't there, when it's online? Because it's like you ask a thing and then you have to stop and then they talk, and then if they talk over you, it's like you don't
raise your hand.
Yeah, you don't have the back and forth.
No, so I really want to do that. I want to get people's perspective on the social landscape, how they're using social, and again, obviously bringing it back into the comments section. And potentially showing them how badly they're doing it. Now, there's a guy I want to follow.
I'm predicting who you're going to talk about.
What do you mean?
I think in my mind I know who you're going to talk about.
Who?
The financial audit guy.
Yes, I've sent you loads of them, haven't I?
Caleb. My girlfriend just started watching him. She really likes him.
I think he's brilliant.
He's massive on TikTok.
What? There you go. I want that.
But with comments.
With comments.
You're like, unanswered comment. With your paper printed out.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
I think, Michael, that is what we need.
Yeah, I like that idea. That's actually an idea where you've said it and I've been like, I agree.
Have you noticed that I've been sending lots of them to the Rupert TikTok?
I haven't checked, to be honest. Do you send them to the Rupert TikTok?
How did you know I was speaking about him then?
Because you were talking about pointing out where people do stuff wrong.
Yeah,
so in my mind, I was just like, "That's."
I've been really impressed. He's obviously hit the algorithm. The algorithm's picked up that I've engaged. I think it's fantastic. I think it's brilliant, and I think actually that would work so well for what we're trying to achieve at Rupert.
Yeah,
100%.
Because you've sort of been doing it with your LinkedIn, so I think bringing that even. Obviously, you can bring in actual people, but then you can also, in the way here we have ads we liked, we can also be like, here's a brand that haven't done their comments very well and put that in the podcast and obviously speak to people. So,
but I actually, so there's a couple of points I want to do. And again, whether it's be podcast, whatever you do, we've got to look at this commercially. So I want to pay the social media managers to come on. I want to pay them to come in here for 40 minutes and talk to us about their comment section. Mm-hmm. I want them to then go away, and I want them to try Rupert, and then feedback what they think about it. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it ugly? Where can we improve? What can we add to our roadmap? So I can get real time feedback. It's great from customers at the moment. I've had calls today, and everyone's like, "It's amazing." Fine, but I want people that are on the tools in it every day, giving me feedback, because that's only going to increase how much better Rupert can be in the future.
I like that. Good idea.
Do you like it? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's something we need to storyboard out.
Yeah. I'm not good at coming up with names, but we'll have a think.
I think we could ChatGPT. I don't know if people know about that, but we can come up with some ideas. So that's what I want to plan for next year is another podcast.
It'd be good if we could somehow bring in the Rupert terminology that we already have, not brand bashers, but you know what I mean, some sort of thing. I don't know what it could be, but
yeah, Scott, I didn't think about that. I like
that. I don't know what it could be. But we'll think.
You've been quarantined.
You've been tangoed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's my thought process.
I suppose you don't want to make it too negative because someone might come on with a really good comment section. You might be like, "Well done."
No, but we'll find them, Michael.
What do you mean?
The only thing we're doing this, and this is.
Oh God.
No, it's not no God at all. The thing is with this is that rather than us rocking up and we chatting nonsense for half an hour, there's going to have to be some prep. That Caleb guy, the why I was really impressed with it. Oh, no.
What? Is it
It's
rain?
raining. Do you know what that means?
What?
I'm going to get really wet.
Do you
know
have a
what?
scooter going?
I've got my scooter, yeah. Oh, okay. So, yeah, the prep, he has loads of prep, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Obviously.
he has a team. He's got he must be doing really well because when my girlfriends watch those episodes, he like goes, oh, you can join, be a member or whatever. But he shows his team, and there's like 10 or 12 people
Wow, okay.
as well as him. So obviously, I think because obviously he has people. I don't think they pay to come on the show. I'm not sure, but they contact him. But he has like courses that they get them on, like financial courses, and like obviously he has ad reads and stuff. So yeah, he's doing all right.
He's doing very well. Yeah, no, so I want to emulate that.
Okay, yeah,
Happy?
I like that. Yeah,
Good idea?
I think that'll be a good sort of. The way this podcast is a bit more sort of like fast and loose, whereas I think that it will be a good sort of difference to this one because it will be like a bit more structured and a bit more like prepared.
Yeah.
So it'll be a good because then you can sort of do that, but then come on here and be a bit more like
Professional.
bantery on this one, and then on the Rupert one you can be a bit more. Or I could get you we could get you like a judge outfit and have like a little hammer, like you've been sentenced to.
Yes. Okay.
We call the witness to the stand. The prosecution. I think we're confusing the like metaphors now, but be good.
Yeah, I like
The
it.
cogs are whirring.
Yeah, I really like it. I really, really like it.
We'll think on.
Yeah, I think that, yeah. So I definitely want to do that. I think we can copy that Caleb style. I like it. I think it's very engaging. And I think actually the people that even go onto the show, if you call it that, get loads of value from it as well.
Yeah.
And I think people coming on Discord, talking about their socials, look at especially the comments, what they're missing, how they're missing out on that stuff. And actually, I think they'll go away with some real value from it.
Yeah, because as in the same way the finance person is, it's like a lot of people don't really know where their finances are, and he sort of gives them that wake up call. And I think it'd be the same thing with the comments, where it'd be like there'd be people on there who might know a bit about their comments, but there'd probably be people who have no idea what's going on in their comments, and you can obviously show them, look at this, look at all these people, and then they can be like, oh, I didn't even know that. So I think it will be good. It'll have a good parallel.
Well, I wasn't expecting you to like it as much.
No, I like it. I'm down for that.
Okay.
I think when it seems doable, I'm like, yeah, that's good. But if you were like, we're going to make a feature-length film about it, then I'd be like, okay.
Well, that does go on to my next point, but that's going to be our next podcast, because the one that we're going to chat about next is, what date's the podcast? We got the 20.
This one's going out tomorrow, which is the 19th. The next one's going out the 26th. Then after that, it's like the 4th or whatever, 3rd or whatever it is, 2nd.
So the new year we can do it, fine. Okay. Well, look, let's leave it there, Michael. I'm impressed with this year's podcast stats.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
We get very few listeners, but we get actual revenue from it.
It's better to have that than like 10,000 listeners and no.
I don't know Google this while I'm talking, but I don't know what the percentage of people of podcasts that actually generate revenue. And I think it's something like 2% of podcasts worldwide generate revenue. It's something obscene, because this is what I spoke about. I did a talk for agency Hackers about our Nick's podcast into the agency, into the ads clinic. And
35%, but I don't trust that.
no, it's not 35%. It's because
that's that Google search thing. I don't know how much I trust this Google search thing at the top.
so 99% of all podcasts aren't profitable. So we're part of that 1%, and we should be very proud of ourselves for that, Michael.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. We've
Yeah,
done
it's
well.
very good.
On to the next year.
On to next year and a lot more podcasting. So that's the end of the episode 82, 19th of December. I'm wishing you all a Merry Christmas from myself, the Bod, and Mikkel. Merry Christmas.